Hello everybody, welcome back to Waluigi Syndrome, and today I'm going to be talking about something very controversial, and this is probably the most effort and time I've ever put into a script, so I'd really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys watching this. It's still going to be a bit messy because I just like to go off the hook a bit when I write scripts, just because I don't like being too confined to writing, if that makes any sense. But most of the drama surrounding this issue has gone away, and I wanted to wait for some of it to blow over and for more news to come out, because I feel like everyone rushed out their opinions the day this big ordeal came out, and it caused a Twitter storm and all that, so I just wanted to wait and let things settle. But now we're only a month away from Sword and Shield releasing, and it's time to talk about it. You know what it is. The National Dex. Okay, I'm aware of my statements and what I'm going to say. It's very harsh, but it's probably going to get a lot of hate, but I really encourage you to hear me out. By the way, I'm going to have rapid retrospect gameplay of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu playing in the background. So shout outs to them. Thanks for providing some footage for me, because I'm having capture card setup issues. But anyway, you feel free to use this discussion, I guess, as a podcast if you want to. Anytime I show you something on the screen, I'll shout it out so you guys can know when you need to look at the screen. In case you don't know what's going on, I'll do a brief recap. During last E3, Pokemon had a segment in the Nintendo Treehouse, which is basically a live stream event where future games are played and different features are shown. The game looked, to be blunt, it looked very ugly. Luckily, based on recent footage, the graphics do seem to have improved a bit, and after showing off the new wild area features in this live stream, they broke the news.
And so what that means for Pokemon Sword and Shield is that players will be able to transfer their Pokemon from Pokemon Home only if they appear in the Galar region Pokedex.
図鑑の舞台に合わせて冒険の舞台に合わせてこだわって登場するポケモンを決めています。
So we were very careful. We spent a lot of time really thinking what the best selection of Pokemon to match the setting of the adventure would be.
さらに詳しい話は今後の取材とかインタビューでちゃんと説明していきたいと思います。
So I'll talk more about the details in future opportunities such as media interviews, but I wanted to let you know today.
Pokemon can only be transferred into Sword and Shield if they can be found in the Galar region. Basically, if they can be caught in Sword and Shield. This means, for example, if you have a Sceptile you loved your whole Pokemon career and you've been transferring it up ever since Ruby, unless Sceptile is in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you're out of luck, and you can't transfer it up. But don't worry, your Pokemon could be used in future titles. The worst part about this is that the models were created in X and Y. They were meant to be quote-unquote future-proofed so that they could be used on future systems. The other issue that is going on with this is Pokemon Home, a new service that we know nothing about, which is going to be a way to store your Pokemon and transfer Pokemon from games into Sword and Shield. And the issue that this causes is, let's say you transfer the Sceptile into your Pokemon Home. You have your Sceptile and your Ultra Moon copy, you send it into Pokemon Home, then Sceptile might not end up being in Sword and Shield. So for the sake of discussion, let's say he doesn't. Then you're stuck. Your Sceptile is stuck in Pokemon Home, and you cannot send him back to the 3DS. You have to have him sit in Pokemon Home, whatever that may be. Now, Pokemon Home may just be a glorified Pokemon Bank, or it could be a cool, awesome feature that's basically like its own game, and it's totally worth having Pokemon in. I don't know, we don't know. But your Pokemon is going to be stuck in Home until a future game comes out in which you can transfer it in. No one knows how long that'll be. There could be a game with Sceptile in it next year, 2 years, 3 years. You might have to wait 4 years for all we know. And to me, this is just ridiculous. But especially, I just feel the Pokemon Company should have done a better job of explaining things. When they broke this news, they should have gone into more detail about what Pokemon Home is going to be and what it looks like, and if it costs money. I'm sure it does, but does it come free with an online subscription, or what's the deal with it? And if they weren't ready to talk about that, then they shouldn't have broken this news that early. So back to the future-proofing thing. It's been stated multiple times that the models, when X and Y came out on the 3DS, the first 3D Pokemon games on the Nintendo 3DS, that the models were future-proofed. Basically, they were made, like, if you ever download the models and put them in Blender, you can see, like, there are a lot of polygons on it. Like, the textures are low res, but the actual model is very, very detailed. Like, they're made well. They were made this well so that they could be easily transferred up. Like in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, we have seen 3D Pokemon models on the Switch. The Pokemon models in Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu are the exact same ones on the 3DS. Just the textures are in higher resolution. That's it. If you catch a Vaporeon in Pokemon Moon and you catch a Vaporeon Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, they're the same model. It just is a higher resolution in Let's Go Eevee. That's the only difference. The only models that are different, the only Pokemon models that are different in the Let's Go games is the Partner Pikachu and Partner Eevee, which have updated models for some reason, but the regular Eevees and Pikachus don't. And the textures are different on those too because they're slightly different colors and all that. But what's even worse than that is in the Let's Go games, the moves and animations of the Pokemon are ripped directly from the 3DS games. So like if you see on the screen here, this Oddish doing its little idle, that idle animation is in all the 3D Pokemon games on the 3DS. It's the exact same thing. And the moves, unless they are new moves that are being introduced in this game, like whatever, I think Melmetal's move, I forget the name of it, like double Iron Punch or something, so like that move is new. But if you use like I was going to wait for the Oddish to do a move on the screen here, but let's say you use like Leech Seed. The model for that is going to be the animation, is going to be the exact same thing that you saw on the 3DS. Now, I feel personally, my personal opinion is that Pokemon and Game Freak have been cutting corners more and more every time a game comes out. You can see it just pretty much since the leap to the 3rd generation. They've been cutting more corners. X and Y was very short. There was barely no post game. You can't really call it post game. And you know what? I defended that because it's okay. It was their first leap into 3D or true 3D, I should say. And it was a huge step up, and they had to make 600 plus models for the Pokemon, and it was so much work. No post-game, that's fine. Then ORAS came out, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I personally love my Omega Ruby copy. I don't know. I think my favorite Pokemon game is Heart Gold, but Omega Ruby is probably 2 or 3 on the list. It's really good. However, there were a lot of features that were cut. For example, the Battle Frontier, which was a thing that people were like really looking forward to when the games came out, and they tease you with a little sign that says the Battle Frontier is in progress or it's under construction. That was obviously to cut corners. The Game Freak didn't want to put in extra time to add the Battle Frontier, and I wasn't mad. It's fine. It's one small thing in the game. The game has all these other features, and it's all this other stuff. So no Battle Frontier, no biggie. Then Sun and Moon came out. Now, I loved Sun and Moon. Unlike most people, not most people per se, but a large majority of people, it was a very divisive game in the series, but I loved it. I liked the character models, the way the humans looked. I liked it. I much prefer the realism, not realism, but more realistic body proportions versus the little bobbleheads that the older games had. However, Sun and Moon made one change that upset some people. They removed the National Dex. However, this is different from the Sword and Shield National Dex situation. Sun and Moon have all 800 plus Pokemon in the game's code. Like, they're all in there. So you can transfer any Pokemon from any older game into Sun and Moon, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So if I want to send my Like, you might not be able to catch a Bulbasaur in Sun and Moon because they don't appear naturally in Alola. It just makes sense. But if you have X and you got a Bulbasaur as your starter in X and Y from the professor, and you're like, hey, I want to send him into hang out in Alola, then you use Pokemon Bank and send him up. It works. Zip zap zoop. It's perfect. However, there is no National Dex item in the game, meaning that you don't pick up and obtain the National Dex. So when Bulbasaur is in your box, he doesn't have a Dex number, and you don't get the registered with the entry and all that information. So if you open up your Pokédex in Sun and Moon, there's just the regional Alola Dex. You can't view your progress on the National Dex. However, you can still transfer up any and all Pokemon from older games. So it doesn't really matter. The only thing you're really missing out is the Dex entry, because they made the Shiny Charm a reward for completing the regional Dex, so you're not missing out anything about the National Dex in Pokemon Sun and Moon. This is confusing a lot of people because the hashtag used to describe the whole Sword and Shield situation is hashtag bring back National Dex. This has confused people because a lot of people are like, well, there was no National Dex in Sword and Shield, when that's not really the point. Or no National Dex in Sun and Moon, excuse me. I'm a bit sick today, so if my voice sounds off or I'm making some mistakes, I'm all over the place. In Sun and Moon, there was no National Dex item, but the National Dex, as in the Pokemon themselves that make up the National Dex, still existed. You could still get them. They're still in the code. They're still there. In Sword and Shield, as far as we know, the Pokemon that aren't catchable in the game aren't even in the game's code. They can't be transferred in. At the very least, they can't be transferred in, but it's probable that they aren't even in the game's code. So like the Sceptile example I used earlier, there's a chance Sceptile's not even in the code of Sword Shield at all. Like, it just doesn't exist. You cannot transfer it in whatsoever. So just as clarification, when people say bring back the National Dex, they're talking about the Pokemon that make up the National Dex. I'm so sick of hearing YouTubers whine and complain and be like, oh, well, National Dex was removed in Sun and Moon, because, yeah, it was. The item was, not the actual Pokemon themselves. The models look good, is the thing. I don't mind them reusing models. Like, look at this Pikachu and this Oddish. They look great. There's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. They're fine. My problem is that they made these models with the intent on future-proofing them, the intent to use them in future games, past the 3DS, to use them on HD software. And now they're saying that they need to cut them for higher quality animations. Now, if Sword and Shield looked absolutely amazing, this would be fine, in my opinion. I would not care about the National Dex being removed if Sword and Shield looked gorgeous, which it does look pretty good. I'm not saying it looks bad. There are areas of the game that looked bad from what we've seen, but some of the more recent trailers and cities, they look good. My problem is that the Pokemon look exactly the way they looked on the 3DS with a higher resolution. And what people don't understand is that you can take a model and give it a new texture. The texture is basically like the skin of the Pokemon, not in like a weird way, but the mold, what goes around the model. So like this Pidgey here, they updated and made the texture, the details on him, the printing that surrounds him, higher resolution, higher quality. But the inside of this Pidgey in the code is the exact same as it is in the 3DS. All the rigs, the model, the animations, it's the same. So now I'm going to direct you guys, if you guys aren't looking at the screen, I encourage you to look now, at a video made by a YouTuber named Distant Kingdom. Shout out to you. I am going to have this video playing so I can show you what I'm talking about. But this is a really well-made video, and I encourage you to go drop a like on it since I'm showing it here. Just to show that Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu are using the same animations as Sword and Shield. As you can see right here, that Starmie jumps over Waterfall. Or not Waterfall, Surf, I believe. So it's the exact same. Which, again, is fine. Because guess what? Like, these all look good. Like, this one, that looks really good. Like, I like that animation. However, my problem is that, again, they said they would cut the Pokemon for higher quality animations. So the animations that we've seen aren't of higher quality because they're exactly what we had before. Now, I'll give Game Freak the benefit of the doubt and say maybe there's another new feature we don't know about. Maybe these animations refer to things that have to do with Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing. And it doesn't have to do with regular battles. Maybe it means human trainer animations. But I really feel that it wouldn't be too difficult to add all the existing Pokemon into Sword and Shield. And now, go ahead, get mad at me if you want, because again, I'm no game developer. I mean, I've dabbled in game development. I know a bit of coding, but no, I'm not at Game Freak's level of game development. I don't know that exact process. I can't say it's easy. They need to hurry up. But I understand they have to meet deadlines. But my personal feeling is that Pokemon are integral to the Pokemon series. People use the argument of like, well, in the Persona series, they change out Personas every game. But the difference with that is that the Persona series, first off, there's one every few years. It doesn't come out almost every year like Pokemon does. Second of all, Personas aren't as integral to the series as Pokemon are. Like, you don't get attached, for the most part, of course, you don't get attached to your Personas. You're not like, oh gosh, I love this Jack Frost so much. I leveled him up to 99 and I want to transfer him to a future game. Like, that's just not how it works with Personas. They're used more as battling devices than friends and things you bond with and play with and do mini games with and stuff that Pokemon are. They're not living creatures in terms of the world. And maybe this video will become obsolete in a month. I hope it does. Maybe Pokemon Home will come out and, whoa, it's a huge thing where there's an overworld in Pokemon Home and you can walk around and see all the Pokemon in it and play with them, and it has all the mini games and everything. But it's just disappointing, especially to somebody like, I have dabbled in competitive Pokemon play. I haven't done anything amazing. I've just done online tournaments and like friendlies at like comic book stores and such. So I do know a bit of competitive Pokemon. However, I'm not very good at it. But the thing is, getting competitive Pokemon takes a lot of work. I probably spent 20 plus hours, 24 I'll say, on my Sun and Moon competitive team. And it wasn't even that good. Like, that's just, like, it wasn't even as perfect as it could have been. That's just, like, it being good enough. So, it's kind of disrespectful to me that they want us to do the competitive thing all over again. For competitive players who have to spend hours and hours looking for the right IVs and EVs and nature, to just have to do that all over again in Sword and Shield. I'm not as worried about it because they recently announced that Sword and Shield will have a feature that will let you change the nature. So it sounds like it's going to be easier to get competitive Pokemon. So that did alleviate some stress on this whole thing and make it a bit better. But I think that the Pokemon Company needs to hurry up and be more communicative and release more information about Pokemon Home. They need to talk about it more. And I feel like they're not going to talk about it for a while, probably. We probably won't get information about it till after Sword and Shield comes out. It's about a month from now is when this game comes out. And it looks great, don't get me wrong. But the thing is that it looks great, quote unquote, for a Pokemon game. And that's the problem, is that we are limiting Pokemon games to what we think they should be and what Game Freak has done in the past. Like, so many Pokemon ideas of, like, this is how it works have just been, like, nobody wanted to change anything just because that's how Pokemon is. We're so limited in our scope of what Pokemon games are and what they're doing. And like, I've seen people who were legitimately upset and angry when the feature was announced that you could move the camera in the wild area. And this all culminates into a bigger problem in which Pokemon games come out so frequently that Game Freak and the Pokemon Company, I assume, are too nervous to make any substantial change because they know that having to make, like, if they make a huge change, like, let's say Sword and Shield was a huge open world, like, almost, I don't know, like a MMO type kind of huge thing, then they feel the pressure to make the next game even better, and then the next one, then the next one. So what they do instead is add and remove features and change them out every game. Like, this was the one with triple battles, this was the one with rotation battles, this was the one that had Z moves, this one had Mega Evolution, all that stuff. They change it every time. Sword and Shield aren't going to have Mega Evolution or Z moves, but they'll have Gigantamaxing and Dynamaxing. But why would I care about that when I know that the next Pokemon games that come out aren't going to have them? Why do I feel the urge to invest or even try out your new feature when instead of fleshing it out, it's just going to get thrown away? I love Mega Evolution. Z moves, I really don't care either way. They look cool. I didn't like how they were used as a huge selling point of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. It was like, look at all these new Z moves. I don't really care. But so I'm not disappointed that the Z moves are gone. I'm more so nervous about how competitive is going to be in Sword and Shield, what Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing and all that's going to do to it. And I want some just new original Pokemon. I like the forms, they're cool, but I don't want, like, I appreciate the forms, they're nice, but I just want some new, solid, completely original, unique Pokemon designs. That's what I want from Sword and Shield. And it's really disappointing, because what bothers me the most about this issue is that if this wasn't a big thing, like, the reason the game, what people don't understand is that the reason the game is being ripped apart and being analyzed and all that is because of the fact that the National Dex is being cut. Nobody's going to care about the graphics on a tree if they didn't say that they were removing Pokemon to focus on graphics and higher quality animations. So, I don't like the mentality that is being formed in this Pokemon game coming out, and I don't like that now they have said, the Pokemon Company have stated that this is going to be the way it is in the future. There will never be another game that has all the Pokemon in one game. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are the final Pokemon games to have the ability to transfer any Pokemon that came before it into the game. From now on, you will be limited to a select pool. Now, they have said and assured us that there will be enough Pokemon to entertain us. There will be a large number, I think is what they said. But if you want to keep us happy, why don't you just, or not keep us happy, that was a poor choice of words, but if you want to, if they truly understood why the fans were so upset, then they would have said, hey, this game, you're getting 500 Pokemon in one game. I mean, I don't know how many we're going to get in Sword and Shield. I hope it's just most of them, and that they cut out the quote-unquote unnecessary ones. But then that makes me angry again, too, because every Pokemon is somebody's favorite. So, while I wouldn't care if Zubat was cut out, there would be people who are legitimately upset about that. And we all know Zubat's not getting cut, so it's fine. But that's just an example. But anyway, I don't like the mentality of now every time a Pokemon game comes out, it's like so-and-so is confirmed for Pokemon, whatever, and whatever. Like, oh my gosh, look, Charmander's confirmed for Pokemon Chair and Table, or oh look, Eevee's confirmed for Pokemon Chandelier and Light. Like, now every time a Pokemon game comes out, it's gonna be like Smash Bros, or when like the Smash Bros Directs came out, aside from like Ultimate, but like, oh, this character's confirmed, this character's confirmed. Like, that's not, the Pokemon is meant to be about you being a kind, worthy trainer that can battle and train with any animal. And the Pokemon Company have stated in the past that they had said that they wanted like people's kids to be able to like experience their father and mother's Pokemon, like they could just keep transferring them up. And I understand that not everyone cares about the national dex, like just because I'm a completionist and I always try to 100% games. I mean, I have a shiny living national dex that took thousands of hours of Pokemon game cartridges combined. But not everyone cares about that, and that's fine, I understand that. But my whole issue is that they decided that this was an okay thing to cut, so what other features are they going to cut to make room for? Like the next Pokemon games that are going to come out, are they going to cut other features out? And I'm not expecting the games to be a graphical powerhouse. I'm not expecting every single Pokemon to have a unique move animation for every move in the game, because that's ridiculous. That's basically not humanly possible. That would be asking so much. I just don't think that they should have used animation as an excuse for cutting the Pokemon when the animations aren't improved. And I feel that this whole thing is a big ploy to sell Pokemon Home subscriptions and to try to encourage people to get Pokemon games in the future. Like, oh, look, this one has your favorite. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. A lot of people, some YouTubers specifically that I'm thinking of, are claiming that the models are the same. They're not. In one of the trailers, it had some Pokemon in the new Pokemon Camp feature, and they had animations that were in the 3DS games, but maybe not used, but they were in the code. And it caused, like, one of them was like a Pokemon leaning forward, and it made the model look like it was made differently. It's not. It's the same models. I mean, we'll have to wait and see till, like, for 100% sure, but if they are different models, I don't understand why Game Freak would choose to build 500 plus models and spend time making them look exactly the way they did before. So all in all, I'm basically my thought with this whole thing is I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I am going to get Sword and Shield. I'm not going to lie. However, I am going to get it. And what makes me angry is, like, if somebody doesn't like the game and says they're not going to buy it, just leave them alone. Please, I want both sides of people on this argument to just be respectful. I am sick of seeing both sides attack each other and rip each other to shreds. Like, please. We both care about Pokemon. Some people are buying the games because they are okay with the fact that there's no national dex and they don't see anything wrong with the game and they're excited for it. And then I'm like, other people, like myself, are not buying the game. Let me explain on that later, but not buying the game because they want to see Pokemon get better and they don't feel like this is Pokemon at its best. We are all Pokemon fans. So please just remember to be kind to each other and to the developers. Just because they're not doing everything that you want them to do doesn't mean you should go attack them on Twitter. or whatever. I'm confident that no one subscribed to me or any of you guys watching this would, because you guys are all great people, but some people will. So I just feel the need. I feel I need to say the fact that I do not want the developers to be hurt or insulted in any way, and I am gonna get Sword and Shield. However, I will be getting it used a few weeks or a week. I will see how it goes before the games come out. Just because I don't want that sale, I don't want one of those numbers in the sale numbers to be counted as my own. So I'll pick up the game used off of like eBay, or wait for someone to beat it, and then bring it back to GameStop and get it that way. So let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Sorry, this was kind of a long video. I did script it out and then kind of mixed some script into some free-flowing conversation. Originally, it was completely scripted, but I really just don't like being confined to specific words, and I always think of like things to add afterward. So yeah, hopefully this wasn't too messy and came out listenable. Listening back on my videos, I know my mic is very bad. You don't need to tell me. It's the one built into my laptop. If I'm lucky, sometime in the future, I'll get a USB mic to make things better. So my apologies about mic quality. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this video. Let me know if you're getting Sword and Shield or not, and if so, which version. I'll be getting Shield probably, because I usually prefer getting the second version. But I really like Sirfetch'd, and they haven't revealed a Shield exclusive to go along with him, so, we'll see. But probably Shield, because I like the Legendary better. But anyway, that's all for today. This is Waluigi Syndrome signing out. I hope you all have a great day.